A trip to the grocery store could unintentionally make you a criminal, especially for gun owners who are unaware of a hidden legal trap, even in states where constitutional carry laws are in place. The law in question is the Gun-Free School Zones Act, which many people likely violate without realizing it every day. The consequences for breaking this law are serious. A potential prison sentence of up to 5 years and fines reaching $5,000. Severe penalties that could dramatically affect your life. In this video, we'll take a closer look at this legal hazard and discuss how you can protect yourself from falling into it. On a brighter note, 26 states have embraced constitutional carry, allowing citizens to carry firearms without needing a permit. This is a significant win for Second Amendment rights. However, this newfound freedom carries an often overlooked risk for gun owners. Imagine going about your day, running errands, or driving through unfamiliar areas. With your legally carried firearm, you might unknowingly pass by a school, perhaps one without clear warning signs. At that moment, you could find yourself within 1,000 feet of a federally recognized school zone, and that's where the problem arises. Without a permit, just having your firearm in that area can make you a felon. The critical issue here is that these zones aren't confined to the school property itself. They extend an invisible 1,000-foot radius in every direction. In densely populated urban or suburban areas, it's nearly impossible to avoid these zones. Think about your daily routine. Chances are, while commuting, you're unknowingly passing through one of these areas. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a serious legal pitfall with the potential for life-changing consequences. So what exactly is this law? The Gun-Free School Zones Act, also known as 18 U.S.C. 922 Q2, prohibits carrying firearms within 1,000 feet of a school, unless certain exceptions are met. On the surface, the law may seem clear-cut, but it presents a real minefield for law-abiding gun owners. Picture the vast number of schools in any city or suburb. Now, imagine drawing a 1,000-foot circle around each one. This results in a web of overlapping zones, making it easy to accidentally enter one while driving to work, picking up groceries, or even fueling your car, potentially exposing you to legal danger if you don't have a concealed carry permit or meet another exception. You could unknowingly commit a federal felony. Disturbingly, enforcement of this law is not hypothetical. There have been cases where individuals were prosecuted under it. In one instance, a man was imprisoned for carrying his firearm near a school. The government argued that the firearm had crossed state lines, thus granting them the authority to enforce the law under the Interstate Commerce Clause. This underscores an important point: interstate commerce. Even locally purchased firearms usually contain parts that have been transported across state borders during manufacturing. This is enough for federal authorities to assert jurisdiction. Unless every single component of your firearm was produced and assembled within your state, which is nearly impossible, you're likely subject to this law's reach. Adding further complexity to the issue, many states have introduced their own versions of the Gun-Free School Zones Act. This means that even if you manage to navigate federal restrictions, you're still bound by local laws. It's a tangled web of overlapping regulations that can easily trip up even the most careful gun owners. The good news is that the law does offer some exceptions to help you navigate these school zones without risking legal consequences. For instance, if you're on private property within the 1,000-foot zone, you're in the clear. This means that living or working in such an area doesn't automatically make possessing a firearm illegal. Additionally, if you hold a concealed carry permit issued by your state, you are generally exempt from the restriction. This makes obtaining a permit, even in constitutional carry states, an essential step to ensure protection in these situations. There are a few other specific exemptions to consider. If you're carrying a firearm as part of a school-approved program or under contract with the school, you're in compliance. Law enforcement officers also enjoy an exemption while acting in their official capacity. Another exception, although often impractical for everyday gun owners, allows the transportation of an unloaded firearm secured in a container or firearms rack within a vehicle through these zones. However, unloading and securing your firearm each time you drive near a school isn't feasible for most people, given how frequently you may unknowingly pass through these zones. Not having one of these exemptions means taking a significant legal risk every time you get behind the wheel. It's not just inconvenient, it could lead to serious legal trouble, underscoring the importance of understanding these exceptions. They can mean the difference between staying on the right side of the law and facing potentially severe consequences. Many may remember the 1995 Supreme Court case United States v. Lopez, which challenged the Gun-Free School Zones Act. The court ruled that Congress had overstepped its authority under the Commerce Clause, determining that regulating gun possession in this context lacked a sufficient connection to interstate commerce. However, this apparent victory for gun rights was short-lived. In response to the Lopez decision, Congress amended the law, requiring that the firearm involved must have moved in interstate or foreign commerce. This adjustment effectively means that almost every firearm still falls under the Act's jurisdiction, unless your firearm was entirely manufactured and sourced within your state, right down to the raw materials. It qualifies as having moved in interstate commerce. So, despite Lopez seeming like a win for gun rights, the revised law brought us back to the same position. The federal government still has substantial grounds to enforce the Gun-Free School Zones Act. And for most gun owners, the practical impact of the decision remains minimal. This highlights the persistence of these regulations and the ongoing need for gun owners to remain vigilant. Let's take a moment to clear up some common misconceptions about the Gun-Free School Zones Act. First off, the Supreme Court's New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin decision, which bolstered Second Amendment protections by focusing on the historical context of gun laws, doesn't automatically nullify the Gun-Free School Zones Act. The court has historically recognized schools as sensitive locations, meaning the act may still hold up under the Bruin framework. The real issue is whether a 1,000-foot buffer zone around schools fits within the historical norms of firearm regulation, which remains uncertain. This question will likely remain unresolved until a specific case challenging these zones reaches the Supreme Court. Until that time, the law remains in effect, and the risks for gun owners continue. Another common misunderstanding revolves around state laws. Even if the federal law were to be struck down, many states have their own school zone regulations in place. This means that even a victory in a legal battle over the federal law wouldn't necessarily end the matter, as local rules could still apply. This highlights the importance of staying informed about the specific laws in your state and keeping up with legislative changes both federally and locally. The key takeaway here is the need to be proactive. Don't assume these laws won't affect you, they very well could if you aren't careful. So what can you do to protect yourself in this legal maze? Here's some practical advice for every gun owner. Get a concealed carry permit. Even if you live in a constitutional carry state, it's wise to get a concealed carry permit. It may seem unnecessary, but it can act as a safeguard against a felony charge under the Gun-Free School Zones Act. Plan your routes. Be mindful of the locations of schools in your area, and try to avoid driving through these zones as much as possible. While avoiding them entirely may be impossible, It's better to make an effort than to unknowingly enter a zone. If you're traveling to another state, make sure to research their gun laws beforehand, as some states have stricter regulations than others, and ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Unload and secure your firearm. If you can't get a permit or aren't able to carry one, your safest option is to keep your firearm unloaded and locked in a container when you're near a school zone. It's not ideal, but it ensures you stay on the right side of the law. Stay informed. Laws change, and what's legal today may not be legal tomorrow. Make it a habit to check for updates in your state and at the federal level. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it's also protection. If this information has helped you understand the hidden risks of the Gun-Free School Zones Act, now is the time to take action. Like this video, share it with fellow gun owners, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Your support allows us to continue sharing vital information and defending our Second Amendment rights. Share your experiences or concerns about these zones in the comments below. Let's spark a conversation to ensure every gun owner understands how to stay safe and legal. Ultimately, navigating this complex law is about protecting your rights and freedom. The Gun-Free School Zones Act represents a hidden trap that could affect any gun owner. But by staying informed and taking simple, proactive steps, you can significantly lower the risk of falling into it. As James Madison wisely said, knowledge will forever govern ignorance. Don't let a lack of awareness about the law jeopardize your life. And for those interested in how Bruin might influence these zones, stay tuned for our upcoming video. Until then, stay safe, stay informed, and carry responsibly.